Alright, this video here will teach you how to assess for multifidus activation and how to assess for transverse abdominis activation as well. So transverse abdominis goes from here all the way around. It's one of the primary muscles for stabilization, so it's very important that we know how to see if it's activating or not. So the key here is that you find the IS, right? And then you go about an inch, 1 centimeter to 1.5 centimeters in, and you just palpate right there. Okay? And then you ask the person, right, to try to bring the pubic bone towards the spine, right? And the reason why we give that command, some studies have shown the traditional method of saying, sucking your gut sometimes inhibits the transverse abdominis, right? So instead, I will take their hand, put it below their belly button, and right here is around your pubic bone. Try to imagine you're trying to put your pubic bone all the way down towards the spine, but don't move the spine. Okay, you move the spine using some global muscles to get this motion. Okay, so I'm putting my hand over here, and then as she's doing that, okay, I am feeling for the muscle to gradually kick it. Right, it shouldn't be a popping type of feeling, right? Because if you feel a muscle pop into you, that's most likely the internal oblique. So that's too much of abdominis in that muscle, with the transverse abdominis. Instead, you should feel like this gradual tensioning of the fascia sheath. So one way to kind of discover what that means is the trick. I just learned this recently myself. You put your hand, your thumb and index finger here, and you palpate your thenar eminence. And when you do that, you palpate your thenar eminence, you're going to feel like no tension. But as you switch to your middle finger, you're going to feel a slight tension. Right? And that's what you're trying to feel. If you do your pinky, you're going to feel a big bulge, and that's like equivalent of I-O. We don't want that. We want like the middle finger and the index finger, a slight turning on. Okay? So do it again. And that's it. Alright? You do both sides, and you're looking for it. Say A, does it turn on right away? So that's a timing issue. B, does it turn on? And C, the endurance, can it stay there? So can you do it again? Hold it, and let's try to see if they can hold it for 10 seconds. So, and then the fourth thing you're looking for is that they're not compensating. The two ways you can compensate is by using your butt muscles to clench. Okay? So if you clench your butt muscles, you lose your ability to rotate the hip. So before I start, I'll just IR the hip. And then I say, I'll turn on the muscle. Right? And then I'll see, can you still turn on? Can I still rotate the hip? And in this case here, I can still rotate the hip. That means she is not compensating using her glute max. The other muscles you could use to compensate, the obliques, which I mentioned before. So what you do before you start, you can do the rib cage wiggle test. So all the oblique muscles, they start into the rib cage, and move side to side. And it's nice and flexible, alright? So I have her turn on the muscle again. And then say, do I still have the same flexibility? Okay. That way we know she's activating the transverse abdominis. Right? Now, the next muscle is the multifidus. So this one here, the person has to lie on the side. If you lie on the side facing me. Okay. And then what you do here is you find the spines process, okay, and you go right laterally, and you palpate right there. Okay. If you go more laterally, you'll feel the superficial multifidus, or rotator spinal muscles. We care more about the deep multifidus. So what we do is we palpate right laterally. Okay. Once again, multifidus is a very key muscle for stabilization. 2/3 of your stability comes from this little muscle over here. So we have to see this muscle turned on. Now, similar to the transverse abdominis, asking the person to turn on this muscle is very difficult. It's not like turning on the biceps. No, the traditional way of learning it is you tell a person, swirl your finger into my hand. And most people have no idea what you're talking about. So instead, we give them some type of visual cues, right? So one way, if they did the transverse abdominis correctly, we should get a co-contraction of the multifidus. So you say, pull your stomach in, and you seeing if the multifidus kicks in. Okay? If that doesn't work, we use more visuals. So here's the PSIS, here's the PSIS. And you tell the person, imagine that the two are coming together which is physically impossible, but you imagine they try and do this motion over here. And then, once again, you palpate the multifidus and pull in, and then relax, okay? This is really good to check in the multifidus of the L5S1 region. But if you want to palpate the multifidus on the lumbar regions, I want you to instead use a different cue of first palpating a segment that you're curious about, and then you put your hand on the ASIs, and you tell the person, imagine you're drawing a line from here to here, right? Without hiking the hip. So pull in, pull up, 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 and then I feel this muscle kicking in nicely, okay? And relax. Pull in, alright? And then remember, you see if it doesn't turn on right away. Like in her case over here, she turns on, but it takes a second to turn on. So you turn on, and can she stay there for 10 seconds? Okay? Relax. So once again, we look for compensations for either glute max or overcompensating by overfiring or excessive motion in the spine over here. So when you assess the multifidus, you're supposed to assess both sides, each segment. But usually you do this where you found the instability or where the person's hinging a lot during the motion or where the level of pain is. Okay, and that is how you assess the multifidus and transverse abdominis.